Hello, YouTube. My name is Karen Boyd. I am the Savvy Reader, and I am back with another great read from my bookshelf. This week, we're going to be reading from God is My CEO. And this book, of course, can be purchased on Amazon. I do have a link to this book in the description box below. And as always, this is not a sponsored video. I do not get paid for you to purchase the book. I just want you to know where you can get this great book because it is a really good read. Hopefully you have been enjoying the other readings, and subscribe to the channel, like the videos, comment would be extremely wonderful of you to do so. So let's jump into this book, God is My CEO, Following God's Principles in a Bottom Line World by Larry Julian. And as always, we're not going to read the entire book. We're going to jump into a few of the chapters, though. And let's start with the introduction, the clash of two worlds. Okay, so of course, if you run a business or even if you're working in corporate and you are in some form of higher level management or something like that, then you could definitely benefit from this book. So it's not just for business owners or leaders, but also for just leaders in general. And that would be corporate, that would be CEOs in your own company, that would be ministry leaders. This book is good. So let's jump right in. Let's start with the introduction. Again, the clash of two worlds. Issue: we are led by bottom line pressures. For a man is a slave to whatever has mastered him. 2 Peter 2:19. I was recently asked to conduct a leadership program for a group of San Francisco sales executives. As part of my preparation, the leader asked me to weave in a module on stress management. Good one. During the program, I discovered that the entire group was on the brink of a collective nervous breakdown. They were all under relentless pressure to produce results. All felt as if they were strapped to a treadmill whose speed kept increasing. Now, if you worked in corporate America, you definitely can relate. I can relate. A former executive in corporate America myself. So yes, I can relate. Feeling like you're strapped to a treadmill that the speed keeps increasing and you can't slow it down. I wanted to help them find the root cause of their situation. The group, however, wanted me only to equip them with skills so that I could help them run their treadmill faster and better. In essence, they wanted me to teach them how to go down the wrong path more efficiently. The bottom line had become their God, lowercase God. It was insatiable. No matter how hard they worked, it was never enough, nor would it ever be enough. These executives were talented, intelligent, capable people who, somewhere along the way, lost focus on what is truly meaningful and important. They had become slaves to bottom line pressure and, as a result, became professionally ineffective and personally burnt out. The solution: let God lead. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight. Proverbs 3:5-6. In my work as a management consultant, I find people in all positions, from CEOs to line employees, wrestling with challenging dilemmas and trying to make sense out of a situation that have no simple solutions. These are talented people who want to make a difference, but who are stuck in a quagmire of urgent deadlines, realistic expectations, and politics. There are times when critical business decisions have no correct answer and can only be made with a leap of faith by the leader alone. The solution is to trust God's principles, which will help us be effective and significant leaders in the midst of a pressured and demanding world. A ship that turns its direction by 1 degree will alter its course by hundreds of miles. In the same way, your trust in God will have a significant impact on the direction you're headed. The more you trust, the more freedom you will gain from the shackles of the urgent, bottom line pressures that enslave you. The more freedom you have, the more significant a leader you become. That's true. Biblical principles versus bottom line demands. At our very core, we want meaning and purpose in our work. We are looking for appreciation and affirmation for our contributions, satisfying answers to ethical dilemmas, clarity and direction in the midst of confusion, and a sense of fulfillment. This common theme crosses every layer of management and extends across races, nationalities, religions, and genders. We usually want to do the right thing, but often succumb to the short-term, bottom-line demands of daily business life. While we are encouraged to follow God on Sunday, we are not supported to make the right ethical decisions in the trenches on Monday through Friday. Amen to that. This paradigm has demanded that we operate in two separate worlds: a deeply personal, private, spiritual world, and a very public, demanding, competitive business world. For the most part, these two worlds clash in their values, beliefs, and principles, and we are caught in the middle. This separation between a true longing for meaning in the workplace and the demand to help our employers survive and thrive creates a tremendous internal dilemma. The elements of this dilemma are shown on the following page. So I'm going to give you a glimpse here. It's business principles versus God's principles. That is the page that they're referring to. So let's get back to that. Business principles versus God's principles. Unwritten business rules versus God's principles. Achieve results. God's principle, serve a purpose. What can I get? How can I give? Success equals dollars. Significance equal people. Work to please people. Work to please God. Fear of the unknown, living with hope. Leadership is being first. Leadership is being last. Take charge, surrender means defeat. Let go, surrender means victory. The end justifies the means. Get to the outcome regardless of how you accomplish it. The means justify the end. Do the right thing regardless of the outcome. Short-term gain versus long-term legacy. Slave to the urgent versus freedom of choice. You can never produce enough versus unconditional love. We commonly view this dilemma as an internal struggle between right and wrong. We seem to be presented with a disturbing choice. Either we embrace the bottom line and turn from God, or we accept and live by God's principles and suffer whatever negative business consequences come our way. We're challenged by questions like, can I do what's right and be successful in a competitive bottom line world? And can I be both ethical and profitable? Yes, you can. That's just me saying that. If you trust in God's principles, have the courage to live them, and have the patience to wait on His timing, then I believe the answer to these questions is yes. Biblical principles and bottom line success are not opposites. Yes, you can do what's right and be successful. Yes, you can be both ethical and profitable. And yes, you can honor God, serve others, and fulfill your professional obligations. Isn't that awesome? God did not call us to be victims of circumstances. He calls us to grow closer to Him by courageously working through our dilemmas. He wants us to prosper, to be valuable leaders, and to serve as models to help others. God's design of leadership has a solid foundation and center and is built to grow stronger over time in the midst of external pressure. This leadership model utilizes time and pressure to yield wisdom, growth and character, and maximum productivity. When you integrate God's principles with your unique talents, and we all have unique talents and skills and character, you create a powerful partnership for being successful in the world without becoming of the world. Oh, that's good. As a result, your challenges and dilemmas strengthen you to become the successful and significant leader God intended you to be. God's wisdom, your spiritual core, provides your source of strength, purpose, and direction, and balances and leverages your skills and abilities. Your character is the aggregate sum of who you are as you courageously follow through and do what's right over time. Your productivity is the legacy you leave behind. Like diamonds, godly leaders brilliantly reflect God's nature in all circumstances and shine brightly in the toughest of times. At the core of the quest for meaningful work lies a clash between two masters who demand to be first in your heart and mind. In the end, you have to choose. Your future is determined by what you believe and do. Every one of your beliefs generates behavior, and every behavior has a consequence. Ooh, ouch. That's good. Ultimately, you become what you believe and do every day. As Charles Reed stated, sow an act and you reap a habit. Sow a habit and you reap a character. Sow a character and you reap a destiny. It is essential to understand the impact of your beliefs and actions because they are shaping your future. What are the beliefs that drive your business decisions? Does your faith define who you are at work, or do the business rules define who you are? Are you on the right path? The beauty and infinite wisdom of God provide us with the freedom to think and choose. This book is not about preaching religion, nor is it a debate about what is right or wrong. Rather, this book is about helping you make the right choices in challenging circumstances. Your dilemmas are natural stepping stones on your path to success. The goal of this book is not to provide you with prepackaged solutions to your dilemmas, but to help you work through the process of solving them yourself. Very simply, this book is intended to help you reflect on your beliefs and to seek God to equip and encourage you to do the right thing under pressure. This process will put you on the most important and meaningful path in your life. This is a good book. You got to get a copy of this. Let's go through purpose. This is chapter 1. Purpose. From earning a living to serving a purpose. In all things, God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to his purpose. That's Romans 8:28. Very, very popular scripture there. How do I find meaning and purpose in my work? That's the issue. I was helping an executive team clarify their mission statement. I began by asking the fundamental question, what is the purpose of your company? They never answer the question. Instead, they focus on developing words and phrases that would sound appealing to their shareholders, customers, and employees. They spend hours wordsmithing phrases such as maximizing profitability, world-class service, and our employees are our greatest asset. Hours had been spent on the words, but there was no meaning behind them. It was almost noon when the company's president arrived. He walked into the room, glancing at the white flip chart sheets with the carefully created phrases. Turning to the group, he said, "Let me bottom line this. Our purpose is to increase revenue 15%, and we have 11 months and 10 days to do it." Employees look for meaning and purpose in their work. Yet in reality, the bottom line pressure for company profitability often takes precedence over employee or company meaning and purpose. Is there more to work than earning a paycheck? The answer is yes, but we need to look in the mirror and honestly ask ourselves, what is our priority? What purpose do we serve? And to what end? Finding the answers to these questions will help us find our true calling. That's the issue. The solution: find God's calling and find your purpose. God wants us to be successful. Not only does he plant the motivation in our hearts, but he also gives us an intrinsic desire to contribute, add value, and connect with others in some meaningful endeavor. Finding meaning and purpose in our work is the key to both personal fulfillment and professional success. Our purpose drives everything else: what we do, how we do it, and for whom we work. It gives us a reason to get out of bed every morning and gives direction to our days. In this chapter, we will first learn how Bill George's journey led him to become CEO of Medtronic, providing him with personal fulfillment after a 30-year search. Then we will learn from Bill Pollard, chairman and CEO of the Service Master Company, whose brand names include True Green Kimlon, Mary Maids, and Terminex, among others, how creating meaning and purpose for employees is the key to his organization's success. In both cases, we will see how turning to God to find meaning and purpose can lead to both personal and professional fulfillment and success. What is the key to their impressive track records in growth and profitability? In both companies, their mission or purpose takes precedence over profitability. Shareholder profits and long-term growth have been the result of their mission, not the mission itself. That's the issue and the solution. William Pollard. Serving a higher purpose and making money. How does one honor God, allow employees to find meaning and purpose in their work, and run a profitable business? I think this is really important here. One could easily argue that the reason for being in business is to make money, and that while finding meaning and purpose is a noble pursuit, maximizing shareholder profits is the priority. Service Master, a nationwide service business, is very profitable, but to the 250,000 employees who serve more than 5 million customers, In 30 countries, their work provides much more than profits. Imagine a shareholder walking through Service Master's lobby at their Downers Grove, Illinois headquarters and seeing a marble statue of Christ washing the feet of disciple. Imagine that. Beyond the statue is a wall that stands 18 feet tall and stretches 90 feet across. Engraved in the wall are these four statements that constitute the company's objectives: to honor God in all we do, to help people develop, to pursue excellence, to grow profitably. Clearly, these statements are unusual for a publicly held company. Of course, they are. We could, in fact, say they are controversial. How does Bill Pollard, chairman and CEO of ServiceMaster, explain to shareholders that ServiceMaster's mission to serve God takes a higher priority than profits? That's really good. This is his book. It's called The Soul of the Firm. Bill Pollard describes how this question was posed at one of ServiceMaster's shareholder meetings. All right, let's skip to chapter 2. Here's the conclusion of Bill George. The common theme acknowledged by both Bill George and Bill Pollard is that finding meaning and purpose at work is a journey. Bill George described the journey as similar to going through a maze. You can't see the final destination. It's a matter of moving forward, trusting that God is leading you according to his purpose. Of course, the conclusion is a little bit longer than that, but we're going to go ahead and jump to. There's a discussion guide, of course, at the end of each chapter of this book. And it's probably a good thing to dive into. A little bit of homework may help you. Do a little bit of brainstorming. Discussion guide. Individuals looking for meaning and purpose at work. What do you love doing? What are you most passionate about? Number 2, what is your greatest satisfaction at work? Number 3, are you in an environment that fully utilizes your talents and skills? Number 4, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? Create your ideal job is number 5. And then part 2, organizations who want to discover the true purpose of their business. Number 1, other than making money, why do you exist? What purpose do you serve? How does your organization add value and contribute to the community, customers, and employees is number 2. Number 3, how does your work environment help employees find meaning and purpose in their work? And number 4 is, how will fulfilling your organization's mission make your organization or business competitive and profitable? Okay, that is the end of chapter 1. Chapter 2, let's jump into that. Success. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah 29:11. You know, when I first started to read the books from my bookshelf, I covered and talked about, well, the Bible was the first book, of course, because whether you're religious, whether you're a believer, spiritual, whether even if you read the Bible, everything is based on the Bible, simply put. I mentioned that early on, and as you can see, success from this book has helped many, I'm sure. It's all biblical. I mean, you hear people quoting principles of the Bible, they will never say it, that's what it is, but that's what it is. And that's what a lot of people thrive on is biblical principles, but a lot of people won't call it that, but that's what it is. The laws of the land came from the Bible. Let's jump into chapter 2. How do I define success? Oh boy, it just keeps ringing and ringing and ringing. How to define success. Now, that word, that's the issue, but that question is very personal because it says, how do I define success? Very key. The owner of the 75-employee manufacturing company was ready to turn management of the family business over to his son. Three of us sat at a table in Mark's office when suddenly the dad slammed the business plan on the floor and lashed out at his son, Mark. You're an idiot. I can't believe what a loser of a son I have. I didn't build this business to have you destroy it. Mark sat quietly in his chair, expressionless. He walked out of the office, disgusted. I was stunned. I searched for something to say that would comfort Mark. After an awkward pause, Mark said, "It's nothing new. He's been like that his whole life." I followed Mark's dad out of the room. I looked him in the eye and asked, "Do you love your son?" He paused for a moment, then answered, "Of course I love my son. It's just that I spent 35 years busting my butt to give him a better life. I don't want him to throw it all away." Then he added, "I worked hard to be a success, and I don't want to lose that." Mark's father defined success by working long hours and making a lot of money. While he loved his son, his pursuit of success had cost him dearly. He had become a financial success and a personal failure. A 70-year-old man with plenty of money, but nothing to show for it. As a father, he left money, but no legacy. He left only pain and an emotionally abused son. The solution: expand your definition from making money to making a difference. When I was working with Mark and his father, I read a wonderful book, Halftime: Changing Your Game Plan from Success to Significance by Bob Buford. The book provides tremendous insight into how we define success. Bob likens a business career to a football game. In the first half of our life, we pursue success. We work hard, sacrifice, and expend energy to become financially successful. In the second half, we focus on significance, giving our experience, time, talent, and energy toward making a difference in people's lives and leaving a legacy. Bob Buford's book crystallizes how important it is for us to take a hard look at how we define success. This keeps coming up. We talked about this some videos ago in my ebook where we talk about your why. Very, very good. The next two stories describe how two leaders came to define their success and, as a result, lead lives of significance. Bob Buford, founder of Leadership Network, shows us how precious time is and that now is the time to live his life of significance. Jerry Colangelo, owner of the Phoenix Suns basketball club and the Arizona Diamondbacks baseball club, provides an example of a business and community leader who has learned that success is fleeting, but significance can last a lifetime. Okay, sorry, Jerry. I should probably know your name, but I don't, or how to pronounce it. Oh, well. We're not going to get into their stories for the sake of time. I know you probably wish that I would. Oh, no, we're not going to get into their stories for the sake of time. Let's jump to the conclusion of this chapter. Conclusion: how we define success is important in shaping our lives. So, how should we define success? Success is generally defined in terms of achievement, fame, recognition, material possessions, and wealth. In a word, outcome. Significance, on the other hand, while less tangible, concerns the process. Significance is importance, meaning, essence, relevance, and value. Success drives us by a desire for tangible things. Significance guides us by a desire for something greater than just what is tangible. That's good. Well, since I went over some discussion guide for chapter 1, let's go over discussion guide for chapter 2. Number 1, how do you define success? Number 2, how do you define significance? Number 3, if you had only one more year to live, what would you do with your year? Number 4, what are the obstacles that keep you from doing what you are passionate about? That's a good one. If you were to make a shift from success to significance, what would it look like? That's number 5. Number 6, what legacy do you want to leave others? Number 7, what small thing can you do today that would make a difference in another's life? I'm going to repeat that. Number 7, what small thing can you do today that would make a difference in another's life? That's what it's all about. Blessing and helping others. We are going to call it quits, but I just want to give you chapter 3 is courage. From choosing the easier wrong decision to making the tougher right decision. That is chapter 3. You might want to grab a copy of this book. You do have a link in the description box to purchase the book if you'd like to. It's a really good book, and it's really a good brainstorming opportunity to know where you are in life, where you want to be in life, and just how important, to let God lead in your life. It's really a really good book. I've owned this book for a while, and it has been very helpful to me. So I highly recommend it. Of course, all the books I read from my bookshelf are highly recommended. We're going to call it quits on that. We read the introduction, we read chapters 1 and chapters 2, but not in its entirety. So grab a copy of the book and read more. If you'd like to get into a detailed discussion of this book, feel free to join the Savvy Reader community, and the link is here on my channel. My name is Karen Boyd. I am the Savvy Reader. Join me on next week for another great read from my bookshelf. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the videos, and leave me a comment below. I'd like to know what you think of the reading so far. Stay in action.